Youth TV, empowering you.
Electronics for a significant amount of time, but these young people, and one of the programs we've run is called the Youth Ideathon, which was funded by the UNDP. We're still on the process of incubating over 4,800 ideas that came through our program. Not 4,800, we got about 4,800, but 1,000 of those are going to go through our business incubation. So I was particular from the word go, because now I am familiar with intellectual property and the significance of that, having worked in incubation hubs, that we have to protect ideas of these young people. There are countless opportunities out there for people to steal your idea without even you realizing.
Yes, thank you very much. The video you just watched was something we cut out from what happened earlier today in Kampala. We should be able to get to know the venue where all this happened, but this was actually Uganda's version of celebrating World Intellectual Property Day, and trust me, we saw quite a number of them. Someone that amused me was Dennis Aguma from NACE Africa. Quite a number of ideas that these guys are planning to fund under the Youth Ideathon, and you believe that IP would actually be a top-notch go-to area for these guys that are going to be, funded. But I'm saying a lot, and you see me with a guest. I have not introduced her. You must be saying this guy is going nuts. No. This is to inform you that earlier today the world celebrated World Intellectual Property Day, and with me here I have someone from this region that has a lot to tell us about such a day. Madame Clara Tumwine, that is if I am pulling out my nasally English very well to pronounce the name Clara. You're welcome on the show, and please say hi.
Okay, thank you so much, Sankara. As you've rightly introduced me, I am Clara Tumwine, and I work with Uganda Registration Services Bureau. This is the government agency that is responsible for registration of businesses, registrations of marriages, registrations of intellectual property, as we're going to see and get into detail. It's also responsible for registration of security immovable property, which we call SIMPO. It's also the official government receiver. So we have various things that we do, but all in all,
you're in the business of registration.
Business of registration. We're the government arm that does that. Yeah.
Okay. So aren't we glad to have you in the region?
Yes, we are based here in Bara.
No, I mean your responsibility as Clara.
I am the assistant registration officer.
Okay. We are now talking directly to the horse's mouth, and in case you ever wondered whether Mbarara has got such an opportunity to make sure you protect your rights and all that, then today is going to be our chance. The show is called The Startup Talk. It runs every Tuesday 5 p.m. on AID TV. We talk anything about startups, and trust me, almost everyone's fear has always been, won't they steal my idea? All those questions, and now we're here to arrest your fears. Let's do this short break. When we return, we should be able to roll into the focus of the day. Thank you.
You're watching a Hit TV, empowering you.
Yes, thank you very much. Welcome back from that short break. Empower Youth in Technology keeps telling you that our major aim is to empower startups in 3 ways: mentorship, promotion, and actually linking you to affordable financing. But you cannot do all those if you're not sure of the future of your idea. And earlier today, we saw a celebration in Kampala, led by URSB. We could perhaps first have a few insights about the day. Yes.
Okay, World IP Day is a day that's particularly earmarked to celebrate intellectual property. Of course, if I get into the intellectual properties, that will take a bit of time.
Yes.
But it's celebrated every 26th day of April. So every 26th day of April each year, celebrate the World IP Day.
Okay.
The theme this year is IP and the youth. And the sub-theme within our country is how IP can create, we can use IP systems to create employment for the youth. We are carrying out various activities. We have a webinar. We have, of course, using our social media platforms. We're trying to promote the event. We're also looking at exhibitions, and we're also looking at the actual physical event. So the physical event is at Protea Hotel. It was at Protea Hotel, and the guest of honor was Sarah Mateke, who is the youth and children's. She's in charge of the children and youth affairs. Yes.
Okay.
And we are holding panel discussions on how IP is going to catapult our youth and that element of unemployment and see us into the middle income status of 2040. Yes. Okay. Yes.
I think the global theme had also a part of innovating for the future.
Yes.
And when it comes back to that, you really want to think IP gets to be a backbone of any other innovation.
Yes, and anything.
Okay. Coming back to the IP itself, the real animal, how would one define intellectual property?
Okay, intellectual property, these are creations of the mind. Okay. So you seated there, you come up with an idea, and you're like, I should draw something. You protect that. Like I said, there are various forms of intellectual property. So maybe to just mention a bit and a few, we have trademarks. I think trademarks are the commonly registered IPs around here in Bara.
Okay.
You have things like Utamu, Kazire, you see all those drinks. They all have labels.
So a trademark goes
a trademark
for a label,
it's a sign, a sound, a symbol, a color, a scent. You've heard of Nokia phones where if someone switches it on, they could be in the next room, but you'll be like, that's a Nokia.
Now
that is protected as a trademark.
I get.
When you smell a certain scent, that can be protected as a trademark. You see a certain sign, this is the moment you see it, even if it were in a different bottle, and you see the mountains with you're able to tell that this is Renzori. So that is a trademark. Okay. So that is protected. Yes. So if you have a product,
and I'll tell you this. I want to be identified.
Exactly. Yes. So that because we have the whole point of trademark is that there are different goods and services. You probably have like water. There are different water producers.
Yes.
But what distinguishes your product from another person? It is that trademark. So if you do not protect it, it's subject to be infringed on. If you have like a song and you do not protect it, someone can pirate that the song. Yes, and you have no recourse. Who are you going to report to? You've never registered. You get it. So it's important that you protect these IPs.
Under trademark, do logos fall under there? For example,
yes.
Then the tagline and
all that. Yes, will fall under trademark. Then we have another sector, another category of intellectual property, which is the copyright.
Yes, I think that is
copyright is now in the artistic world. We're looking at songs, books. We're looking at apps. People who are very creative in the software world. We're looking at apps. We're looking at paintings, sculpture, all that can be protected. Yes, and the thing about copyright, unlike trademarks, is that the moment you come up with the idea and you fix it, like you bring it out into something tangible or something that is
Visible,
seen or
yes.
or heard or something,
Yes.
copyright takes effect. Yes,
That is yours, and
exactly. That
whether
is
it's
yours.
sound, whether
And the only thing is, if now you're ripping off someone's work, if you're ripping it off, because the whole point of copyright is that you have an idea, you've come up with it, you've fixated it, created it into something either tangible or seen or heard or something, and then you put it out in the public, you know.
Yes.
So when you create that product, come to our offices. If it's a product, it's a song, it's something, you come to our offices, we register you, and you get your certificate of registration.
So these songs we can freely access on YouTube, and you're not going to be penalized. And these movies, those guys literally didn't come over to register them, and they have no say.
No, and some have, but that notwithstanding doesn't allow you to use someone's product or someone's copyright just anyhow, because you will be. We have an enforcement team that moves around the country,
Yes.
and recently they were in Bara, and they raided video libraries, and some of them would come to us at our offices there in Kamkuzi and say, oh, there was a group of police officers, they came, they confiscated our things. It is because they were committing crimes of piracy.
Okay.
That offense, because someone has gone ahead and protected their copyright. Now you're producing on mass scale and producing for commercial benefit. If you're using it as an individual for just private listening, it is okay. But the moment you commercialize it, then you have to pay back to the person, the creator.
Okay.
Yes, to the creator, because they put in effort, they put in skill, they put in time to create that product.
So copyright pulls to things like shows, even.
To the show, no, but to the song, to the production, broadcasting, all that.
So I've seen like matches, for example, even our own. I think also Premier League and all that, because that is what is common. Like, we are not allowed to air them on our local channels.
Yes.
All that fall under the same category.
Copyright, yes. Now those are what we call neighboring rights.
Okay.
Yes? Because the actual here it would be that the author of the work would be maybe like the player or something, but now this other person is using the game and using his cameras and
Yes.
things in the background, and he's broadcasting.
Yes.
So that one would be a neighboring right. You know, so to access that game through his cameras and his equipment and all that,
Yes.
then now that one goes into neighboring rights, but you still have to pay for that copyright. Yeah, that's why you're not allowed to air that game.
Yes.
If you're airing it privately, like if I'm watching it by myself, okay. But if I'm going to put it in a, for example, a stadium and everyone watches, or I put it around here and then everyone watches, then no, you're commercializing someone else's idea.
So when we go to Chibanda, for example,
That is wrong. Of course, now the element of copyright hasn't sunk in deep, of course, because the largest percentage of our economy is informal.
yes,
Yes.
true. Yeah.
So we have gotten away with many things. That's the honest truth. But where we're headed,
Yes.
we are moving into worlds that are more formalized. Yes, and that's why we are advocating. During the COVID period, artists, most of them run broke.
Yes,
They have created works.
and music
To be
around
honest,
the
they
country
could
was
have
being
used
produced.
it, because they are what we call collective societies, which they come up and, for example, get into a sect. Say these are the filmmakers, these are the musicians, and they help enforce some of these rights. So that maybe if you're in a bus and you're listening to a song of, let's say, for example, Ray G, the song is being played, but Ray G is not making any coin
Yes.
on that money. The bus is playing the music. For it, it's soothing its customers, because you see a commercial benefit to it, you know.
Okay.
Soothing the customers as on their way to Mbara. Ray G is not making any money.
True.
You know. But if the collective society, if he was a member of the collective society, it's able to collect from the bus company that is playing his music, or a restaurant that is playing his music, and at the end of the day, he will receive royalties. But most of them, because there's nothing in that realm, so they don't reap from their sweat and from their hard-earned ideas. So we are advocating in our conference today that we had,
Yes.
we were advocating for artists, creators, to come out and protect their ideas, to commercialize that aspect of their, because it's a source of income. You look at
And
people these developed world, the artists,
Yes.
for each time they play their song, they receive a
get
cut.
some money,
You receive a cut,
okay.
and you're able to earn from that.
Are we about to achieve that in Uganda?
In my opinion, I think it's a step by step.
Okay.
I believe we are at least we're moving into the right direction. It's a step away from the wrong direction. So I believe that in the future, in years to come, because I know it will take a whole lot of mindset shift, cultural behavior. There's a lot that has to shift,
Yes.
but it starts with today.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've grown in with my IT background. I have overheard the word patent. Where does it come in, or what does it mean, and all that? Yes.
Okay. So patent is also another type of IP. Like I said, there are various types of IPs. So patent involves creation of an idea that is new, and it has it's going to be applied in any industry, and it's going to create a new solution.
Yes.
Create a new solution that will solve a certain particular problem.
Yes.
So for example, the safety pin. Safety pin was patented.
Safety pin on fire extinguisher.
The safety pin. There is chikwans.
Okay.
The ballpoint pen that you use.
Yes.
Patented. All those came to solve a problem.
So
at the time,
if I do that, what does that mean? I mean, like anyone else who comes to use the ballpoint is supposed to go through me, or I don't know. Okay.
Now, yes, that's very true. The whole point of IP is that when you create your idea,
yes,
you are the exclusive owner of that idea. Of course, after you protect it. So it's an exchange between the innovator and the state. The state is saying, you create, we give you protection,
yes,
for a certain period of time.
Yes.
So you create, for example, the ballpoint pen that was created, and the state gives you protection for a period of time. Of course, these different IPs have different times of protection periods. For example, a copyright is protected your entire lifetime, and 50 years after the year you have died. So we're talking like Michael Jackson, who died like years back.
Yes.
So for the entirety of his life,
it protected him.
He was protected.
Yes.
For as long as he protected his copyright, and that's what most people in the developed world do. Before they come up with us, they protect it. Before they, for example, Kylie Jenner, before she churns out Kylie Cosmetics, she goes and protects it. Don't protect it after it's out.
Because people perhaps could have.
People are out there watching, so you protect it prior.
Processes.
So let's go back to the patent idea.
Yes.
The ballpoint pen. He came up with the way it works, because you have to show us how the problem it's solving, the steps it's taking, all that stuff. So you protect it, and the government gives you protection for that period of time. The only thing about patent is that it cannot be protected forever. Because you remember, it's solving a problem in society.
Yes.
So you can't give the person exclusive rights forever. Then what happens? Because they need money at the end of it. So the state is saying, we shall protect you for this amount of time, but after that, after you've recovered maybe the amount of money that you put in, then you should be able to allow other people to use that very patent.
Does that mean in that period no one should actually do the actual thing?
No one can use your IP, your patent. And the only ways in which they can is if you assign. Of course, now that we're talking legal terms, you assign them the right, you give them a license, or you give them some form of authority to use your IP, your patent, as you. Because in the exchange would be you're getting money from it.
Yes.
For example, I'm going to assign you either wholly or partially my rights on a patent, and you usually there's a consideration, there's a benefit behind it. Yeah.
Okay, well, isn't that beautiful? You people who are thinking of creating, I have so many youths here that have so many ideas. Some of them have gone to develop their prototypes. Some of them have presented them in, platforms that could actually expose them to being stolen.
Yes.
I think this should be
and I think maybe to add, like I said, protect your intellectual properties before
you get out. Yeah.
Because there's one time I was watching NTV and they were showing a gentleman that had come up with a very innovative idea, and I remember thinking to myself, if he hasn't protected it, well, because one of the tests in for example, patents is that the thing that you're presenting should be new. Yes. And for something to be new, it should be literally a secret, not known by more than 2 people. Because the moment it crosses to 3, then it's no longer a secret. Yes. So I remember thinking, has this boy protected his idea? But then the beauty is that if you have not protected it under, for example, under patent,
yes,
you can protect it as a utility model. Yes, because
okay.
utility model is
new
also,
animal coming on
yes,
board.
yes, utility model. It's also something that is new and you know, solving a problem, but it's usually something that is adding on to something new. You know?
I wanted to ask that. I think that falls in my next question, because someone thinks, I have a lady, for example, that thought that while ladies use toilets, as you know, the flush toilets, anyway, everyone, while they use those toilets, whatever you dump in there, water splashes back up.
Yeah.
And she's thinking, I can do something over the water and always first place like napkins, do my stuff and later flush. But there, at least while in use, I'm sure there's no water coming back. One would think maybe it's new, but at the end of the day, it's using things like napkins, which is already on the market.
Exactly, yes.
So that falls under the utility.
Yes, so for it would, because it's not new really.
Yep.
It's like you're pitching off someone's idea, create something else, which is also going to solve a problem, you know?
Yes.
Yes. So that would be protected like that. Like I said, IPs are of varying types. So you may think, oh, now this is no longer new, and now, you know, I'm no longer innovative in it. No. Come to us. Yes. Shall advise you. You know, your idea could be protected as a patent, yet for you're too busy, you know, dimming its light. So come to us if you feel like you're confused. We are there to help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this break. When we come back, we should be able to also see if there is actually costs involved, and also how USB is actually, preparing themselves to help us achieve the sub-theme. You know, we are saying let's use IP to create sustainable kind of employment, and you know, it's amusing to know that even when I'm dead, I'm going to be earning my money 50 years. I have seen YouTube videos of Michael Jackson still shoot up in views, and I believe YouTube still pays him. Yes. Well, isn't that interesting? Let's do this. When we come back, we get more of the IP talk.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Yes, I'm trying Omuchiga. Bueno, if you have any event, it can be a music show, it can be a party, big or small, and you want it live, you can even catch me and my band on Ayit TV. That is on YouTube, Zoom, or Facebook.
Ayit TV, empowering you.
Yes, thank you very much. Welcome back from that short break. Shine Omuchiga over there telling you that yes, in case you have an event, Ayit TV is going to put it live on Facebook, YouTube. We have an app, we have a web. People are going to listen live in case they don't have enough data to watch. They can still listen live to your event. Now, in case you're planning a product launch, workshop, it's maybe, an info session, even yoga, you guys in weddings and all those kind of events, the world moved, and there's a lot of, there are a lot of people that may not be able to make it live there or physically there. They can always follow the event, and the beauty is your event remains there forever. You can also keep, sharing it to your colleagues all through. And yes, you need to reach us on the contact that you see right below here. Now we're still hosting or going on with Madame Clara Tumwine. In case you just joined us, she is the Assistant Registration Officer of the URSB, Uganda Registration Services Bureau. We're talking about Mbarara or Western Uganda office. And in case you ever needed their services, then you need to talk to me nicely. I got her contacts. For other reasons, no. And we are talking about intellectual property, and this whole talk is literally about protecting your idea, protecting your innovation, your business, or anything to do with something you created by yourself. And remember, Startup Talk targets you guys who are creative in your own ways for, money reasons. And this is why we're here. Talking about protection, by the way, I think we talked more of the IP. If we get into dialect kind of protection at the national level, does Uganda anyway have any interventions in terms of, I don't know if I'm bringing it right, but let's talk protection, yes.
Okay, there are different types and levels of protection. Okay, so there's the national protection, there is the regional protection, and there is the international protection.
Okay.
Let's start with the international. The international protection is at the level of the World Intellectual Property Organization. So if you have an IP, you can protect it in Kenya. You protect it, of course, usually with the member states. You protect it in the US. For as long as there's a member state, you apply through the WIPO office, which is the,
so we're talking about now Uganda applying. Say now we have
a Ugandan, not
please.
Uganda.
A Ugandan.
You apply because you're the author, or you're the creator, you're the innovator.
Oh, okay.
You apply, but you want your protection to just not only be here in Uganda. You want it to be in the US.
Okay.
So it's the same thing. Someone in the US wants to protect, for example, Marvel films.
Yes.
They will come and protect in Uganda.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. They can use the WIPO office. They can also use you as a Ugandan. If you want to protect your product, you don't want it at the international level. You want it at the regional level. You can use the African Intellectual Property Office. So we have one. So for it, it's called the ARIPO. So if you want to protect a product in Kenya, because URSB is not going to protect your product in
beyond
Kenya.
borders, yes.
Within that territory.
Okay.
So you protect it through ARIPO. Now, if you want to protect it within the borders, you come to us. We are the office that protects. Yeah. So that's how it works.
Talking about coming to you usually involves money.
Yes.
And when we shared about this, some youth really commented and said, those things, we don't have money. How is the costing, how is the youth not protected, but...
How the costings?
Yeah.
Okay, the costings are surprisingly not very expensive. They're not expensive, they're cheap, I would say. Because if you're, I'll give you an example of a trademark. A trademark from start to finish is 275,000. And you're acquiring protection for 7 years initially. And if you want to get more protection, because for it, its protection is renewable. Unlike a patent, you only can protect it twice.
But first wait, under trademark, there is I know while you are registering your business is where you reserve your name, and then so at that level you only have reserved the name.
Okay, maybe I need to clarify here.
Yes.
Business registration, we do both the IP and the business.
Yes.
But they're distinct.
Yeah, really.
So I'll give you an example. I usually use this one of Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola makes various brands. It makes Fanta, it makes Sprite, it makes Stoney.
Yes.
Now, Coca-Cola as a company is called Century Bottling Company.
Yes, that's their name.
That is the business name. It's the name which they use to trade, the name that, But when it comes to their products, now those are what we call the IPs, the trademarks.
Okay.
So they'll trademark Fanta, they'll trademark Sprite, but it's owned by Century Bottling Company.
So in this case, Fanta is not a business.
No.
It's a product.
Exactly.
Wow.
Because we usually encounter that at office.
Yeah, true.
We encounter that problem. Someone's like, but I protected. You're like, as a business name or as a company,
yes,
you didn't protect yourself under IP. So someone will still. I've seen an instance where the owner of the business protected the business name. Then the worker who was sharp, came and protected the IP. Can you imagine?
Such cases also.
You either have to sit down with them and negotiate, or you go to court. And I don't know under what grounds you'd be arguing.
At that time, you have to beg, really.
Yes, you have to negotiate and tell that
understand
person, you know what, just at 150 million, sell to me that trademark. And yet it was yours from the jump. You just were confused on how to protect. So know that there's business protection and there is also IP protection.
Okay.
The two are distinct. So in terms
Jim,
of...
well, that question was from my colleague called Jim, and trust me, you answered, I believe. Thank you.
So for the costing, as I said, of course, like I said, I was giving an example of trademarks, 275,000 for a period of 7 years. And then when you want to renew, you pay an extra 100,000 for each 10 years. You keep renewing, 10
years.
Of course, like I said, the whole point of IP protection is that the government gives you protection for a certain period of time,
Yes.
as you are also making your money back.
Yes.
So 275,000 shouldn't scare you and alarm you, because you're getting protection and you're getting much more. Because at the end of the day, what are you looking at? Aren't you looking at creating a brand? A brand usually has quality, because if you don't protect your brand, anyone can water down. They can duplicate your product, and
Like you said, once it's done, it becomes expensive for you to retain
exactly.
them.
Are you going to pay that 150 million to get back your trademark, or to get back your IP, your song, your whatever it is? So why not protect yourself way ahead of time to avoid all those inconveniences, and to also make money, because it's not what you are after.
Yes.
You're coming up with your idea to make money. I will give an example. At today's conference, we were requested as a regional office to front some youth and some youth innovators.
Yes.
And we fronted EcoSmart Uganda Limited. These ones make recyclable sanitary towels.
Okay.
And we also fronted Humora Therapy. Okay. These ones have made an app. An app dealing with your mental health, because mental health is important, just like with other physical general health. So we fronted those, and the whole point behind it is we're trying to show how these innovators have used their IPs to, one, generate employment for themselves, two, create employment for the other people. For example, Humora Therapy is employing nurses, is employing therapists. Behind the app, there are people who are working and they're making money. They're making a living. There's a general perception that when you're in school, you're going to study to become a lawyer, you're going to study to become a doctor, or become something. What if it doesn't pan out for you? But you have an idea. Yes, it doesn't pan out for anyone, for everyone. Some people will get it, some people will not.
Sure.
So, but you have an idea. You have something you're creating. So don't sit there and play, woe is me, I don't have a job. Create something for yourself. These brands that we see started somewhere. KFC started with that gentleman. He came up with chicken, but can you believe it's a global thing now?
Yes.
And it's earning him money. He's making franchise agreements, and people are making deals world over. So it's in my opinion, I think it starts one day at a time. And I myself have also involved myself, as a creator. I do have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
I'm pumping out content in one way or another, because I'm learning and I'm seeing the value.
So if I pick your video, I'm finished.
Because tomorrow I'm probably at, let's say, 60 subscribers.
Yes.
But tomorrow I could be having, I don't know, maybe like 10 million subscribers, and I'll have brand deals. When the brand comes to me, I should be able using my YouTube channel to advertise their products, but I'll have a copyright. I'll have protected myself in one way or another.
Wow.
So I'm also using it myself as a platform. I'm learning. So why not draw from such examples?
Let's come back to music. I think Western Uganda, because we are running an online TV and this is not to report ourselves, but yes, we are one of those perpetrators, and the music you find comfortable to use is that of Western Uganda because there's no copyright. So how let's get into the costing also. Someone releases their song here. Is copyright also as much as 270 plus?
No, actually copyright is not. So for copyright, what you do is you fill out an application form.
Yes.
For it doesn't even require, because I didn't talk about how the steps of trademark, but a trademark, you first search we have a system that searches to make sure that your copyright, your
Whatever
trademark
you're looking
doesn't resemble.
Okay.
But for copyright, for as long as you've created it, like
Yes.
I said, copyright has begun.
That is
I
what
even
you
said
have
it in the
created.
beginning.
That is it.
It has started. So if I have drawn some baby scribblings, this is it. That's my copyright. So for copyright, we don't go into that detail of searching. Is it existing? No, didn't. No. For copyright, you fill out that application form. You present us the copyright that you're protecting. If it's an app, of course, you show us the source code. If it's a song, come with a disc. If it's a movie, with a disc. If it's, for example, a dance, something of it, dance, you also protect it.
If you don't search, isn't it possible for me to get a reggae song and I'm like, no, this is mine?
Then we shall come down to when you're okay. Yes, that is also possible. That's possible. That's why we have advertising in the Gazette, so that if someone is opposed to your copyright, then they will come up and say it. Yes, but the initial charge that we ask for is 50,000, and it's just 50,000 from your RSB. We shall require
50,000, and
you have to gazette it.
And you said copyright is lifetime, and then plus
50 years after the year of your death.
Oh, that's it.
So yeah, you have that protection there. So and in the process of creating that song, you don't do it by yourself.
Yes,
you know that.
Yes,
you have to go to
the recording studio.
You're creating employment. You're giving them money.
True.
And at the end of the day, when someone is going to listen to your song on Spotify, you're going to get some money. You know, at the end of
Spotify
I had that.
Anyways.
Yes, you earn after every 3 months or something. They give you your check. You know, for that amount. And the thing about YouTube, for example, is whenever I'm creating my content, you cannot use a certain song because they'll tell a copyright claim.
Yes,
true. Yeah, they'll come for you.
They come
and then,
for you. They ban
your ads,
yes.
Your revenue that you should have generated from that video will not be generated because you have a copyright claim, and they'll take the money, rightfully so, because they do own that song and you used it without their authority. Yes, and their consent. Yeah. So there's really a lot, but also maybe to talk about, it's not just about the artistic. We also have the technological part and the educational bit.
Yes. We
have what we call TISCs. You know, this is where these ones we usually involve universities, because that's where the innovators are.
Yes.
They are the youth. They are the ones who are still young and fresh with the burning ideas. Yes. So TISCs are ways in which we can use technology transfer. You know, the transfer of knowledge. These developed worlds have come up with IPs that have protected over time, and these TISCs collect that information, and they allow the innovators who are still coming up to gain from that knowledge. You know, so they give you access. They give you access to works that have been created, so that you can enable research, because these worlds that are fast moving have developed on innovation. If without innovation, we would still be drumming for communication.
True.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
But now we have phones.
WhatsApp.
We have social media. You know, we have moved. So clearly it's innovation, and the digitalization has even been fastened with with COVID and the pandemic. Now we can have meetings. Back in the day, you need to, for example, travel. We used to have meetings, and you'd have to travel to Kampala. But these days, just simple click on the computer, and you're having a meeting.
Sure.
You know, and I think the future is getting better. So as a country, as a nation, we need to jump on that wagon. You know, yes, because it's moving whether we want it or not.
It's a revolution anyway.
It is moving, and we need to be awake and alive to that fact, and earn and learn from that.
Uganda as a country, what more ways are we prepared to ensure, a safe landing of these innovations, of these ideas? Like you talked about the university. Are there ways, if I was requested really, or if I was in position to ask a favor, would be to, at the time, as at an idea level, most young people generally cannot afford 270, by the way. If there was a chance of you allowing, just like we have loan schemes of you allowing me to study. It was a chance of, okay, let's protect you on this kind of, okay, let it be maybe limited time and say we are going to protect you for 6 months. Look for this money in 6 months and bring it. I don't know. Okay, that is my humble request anyway, if it was to come over. But how are we prepared as a country, as a nation, to see IP getting to make these young people earn?
Okay. We're already doing it. Sensitization.
Yes.
Really. Because I don't think I heard of IP until law school. Personally, I'd never heard of IP. So picture another people who have not gone to law school. And they have not watched this video, they have not attended the conference, the one we had today. How are they going to get to know? It's through sensitization. So we as an institution are embarking on a massive sensitization campaign. Sensitize, because with sensitization, that's where you break the barriers of myths.
Yes.
So because some people are dealing on myths. They hear a story, they're like, hey, this is how KFC came into existence, and that's it. They forget that the man sat down, came up with an idea, protected it, They don't know that background work. So we're launching into massive sensitization. But we're also looking into partnering with stakeholders, stakeholders like the universities. We're looking at the business community, because the business community also holds a large percentage of IPs, looking into universities. We're looking at partnering with different agencies, for example, UNDS. Before someone can get a certification mark, they need to have registered their business.
Yes.
They need to have a valid trademark, a protected trademark. So we're looking at partnerships with different government agencies in that realm, to encourage. We're looking at narrow, because that's where creations of plant varieties.
Yes.
We're looking at improvement in breeds. We're looking at that. But we're also looking at generally putting out more and educating the youth on how they can commercialize. On the aspect of costs, of course, we as also an institution, I would tell you, for example, copyright prior to 2020 was much more expensive. It used to cost about because gazetting itself was 350. Yeah, so that it means it used to cost about 600,000. But now we brought it to have a trademark. We have brought it down to 275. So I believe with more people coming on board and giving suggestions, valuable and meaning suggestions, I believe the future is brighter and the costs will come down. Of course, the more the demand, the more the costs will lower, because there will be a lot more turnover in terms of the trademarks and IPs registered. Yeah, because you also know that the government benefits from this. It's a government service, and the money that we collect, the money that goes to a consolidated fund, and the consolidated fund goes into the budget. The budget makes the roads, yeah.
So beyond the roads and all that, my interests as I come to have my IP is literally to protect my business, and that usually comes with an extent at which the intruder is going to be punished. At what extent do you punish these guys? We have seen technology coming around. I can, for example, pay for DSTV 360 something, I think, per month. But now there's Zoom. I can now broadcast it on Zoom, because I know Zoom does not really want to strike me. And 1,000 guys are going to join there, and they are paying me. We have seen really disruptive technologies, hackers and all that. The smart guys you talked about, the rich guys who have money to invest in this. To what extent really are you going to punish a Sankara that has
violated an infringement?
This is an idea, and let me go into it.
Okay. Well, punishment starts with: are you protected? Because are you going to punish someone who is not protected? Who punish someone yet the person that has the work is not protected?
Okay.
So that's the starting point.
Yes.
Have your IP, intellectual property, protected.
Okay.
So once it's protected, now you come into the ambit of the law. There are civil and criminal sanctions. So there are civil punishments like confiscate that person's property. For example, I told you about the movie libraries in Bara that were stormed. And most of them were in disbelief. They came crying, saying, "I don't know if these were thieves," but it was truly that enforcement arm of ours. Like I said, we have an enforcement arm that looks into copyright piracy, trademark infringement, patent infringement. So anytime you call upon us and tell us, of course you must give us a tip, because we're not everywhere and we're not all knowing. So you must, you as the intellectual property owner, you come to us and tell us, you write a letter or you inform us in one way or another. Tell us, by the way, there is this person here that is counterfeiting, and we shall be there. We confiscate. Of course, you go to court. There's litigation, and that person is tasked to pay money. Compensate you for the loss, the damage, all that. We're also looking at criminals. They are prosecuted, taken to jail.
Okay.
So, but those are the different types of
at that level, is it state versus the perpetrator, or at the
Yes,
end of the
it's
day
the
it
state.
comes back to the company?
No, it's the state. If it's a criminal, it's the state versus. Yeah, but if it's a civil, of course, it's an individual versus that other the perpetrator.
Okay.
Yeah, but in short, you should be protected because there are people who are out here just to play on people's ideas. I'm somewhere and I overhear a big deal that is going to happen. For example, I hear that there's a big company that intends to come here to Uganda and register. I run quickly to the bureau. I register my company. I sit, I wait. And they come and they search and find this. Hey, this name is already taken by someone. If it's a business.
Yes.
If it's also a trademark or an intellectual property. And then that they have to come around, compensate me large sums. Because at that point, I have the higher bargaining power. Yeah, you need the name, I have the name. So you must part with whatever money that I wish, and things like that have happened.
I'm sorry,
I have
Uganda
seen them.
is
I have seen
associated
them.
with mafias.
I have seen
I
that
don't know
a
if
lot.
we have the mafia state also in this side.
It's there. I have seen it.
Yes.
A certain lady came to me in like 2019, and she told me it was a business name. It was a beverage manufacturing company, and her askari had taken the name. Yes, he was sharp, and I think he was sharp because he was listening into, I don't know, radio. He has some friends somewhere. So don't wait for such a situation. Don't wait for such a situation. And to be honest, I do listen into different podcasts and watch YouTube channels, and the first thing I have noticed is they protect them prior. I want to emphasize
At
this.
an ideal
Protect it. Even when you look at YouTube and they talk about ways of starting businesses, they say first visit the office that registers businesses before you start. Don't start and then start going backwards. You may meet monsters in the back.
Sure.
So start with protection. Go ahead and start.
Okay.
And there's a fear because most people will say, now I may start and then it crumbles. I may start a business and say it's probably called Clara Enterprises, and then Clara Enterprises crumbles in the first year. And yet have invested all this money, but that business can still go ahead and do various other things. You may have started it out for mobile money purposes, but it can do other things. Down the road, you can have an idea of, maybe let me start a processing plant, or let me start a salon. You already have something that's already out there. So my plea to the youth is maybe to look. There are ways of starting small. Don't look at starting like Wavamuno, or starting like someone who is really rich. There are ways that we have, and there are programs that we have, that can aid someone that's at a lower level. And as you advance and progress into that larger thing, into like that what Elon Musk has, SpaceX, and
Okay, isn't it a beautiful talk this evening? And most of the questions that you guys had forwarded in have been answered rightfully. And in case you know a colleague that is trying to launch or get into the innovation space, then you need to forward them this link and they need to watch this. But also at AYIT, as an innovation hub, we are now picking interest in at least hosting you several times. Or perhaps get your staff, at least come around and meet the innovators themselves directly and talk to them. We can plan a university tour, at least for those in this region. Go around them, and if you're creative at campus, then you're actually supposed to hear this talk and ask your questions directly. But also, you could still drop your question in the comment section. Even when we don't answer it on the show, I'm so sure she's going to have this question answered. Either we comment back or we reach an extent of, giving you a call. So, Clara, I think we've utilized our time very well. Unless you have something else to add in regards to USB and also the IP talk, we should be able to end this.
Okay, maybe just to conclude, I will say that USB this journey has not started today. We started this journey way back in 2013, and we have really taken a stride. I wouldn't say such a huge stride, but a step away from the wrong direction is a step in the right direction.
Yes.
So I believe what we have started and what we have worked on so far will lead us forward. And forward being in the digital era, a space where we as youth, are able to earn from our own creations.
Yes.
We will not wait on jobs, because jobs also have very many uncertainties.
Sure.
Don't wait on that. Start up with your small thing and see how you fare and move forward. And even if it, like I've always told myself, even if something fails, I've started it and it has failed, there's something I learned.
Yes.
I either win or I learn. So something that you've learned, it will propel you forward. And I believe that especially after the conference that we've just had,
yes,
the webinars, the different platforms, you can still go to our social media. We also have content that stays. For example, now our Twitter, we have our WhatsApp number, we do have a YouTube channel, so even on our platforms, you can still go there and see this all that has happened today. And we are so grateful to AYIT for this opportunity, because it's not just every day that people allow and invite us for things like this to educate the community, the youth, and empower them. So we're grateful, and I think we have definitely seen progress on your end, because you came and registered your business name prior to beginning, and that was very commendable of you. So we appreciate the opportunity, and we also look forward to more interaction between the two, the institution and the TV.
Yes, that's a big statement over there. Yesterday we released a link that was calling for Creative at Campus. We are taking Startup Talk to campus, and we want it to be physical. Have you guys who are creative there, give you a panel, meet Balia, meet her, and the ecosystem is just getting wow from Mbarara. The region is no longer virgin. We are trying to take that virginity over there, but yes, this is all to make sure that the startup ecosystem in Mbarara and beyond gets to be as smooth as it can be. Thank you very much once again for allowing to talk to us. We believe this is only the beginning.
Definitely is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, the Startup Talk. Until next Tuesday, thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Yes.
You're watching AYIT TV, empowering